Good afternoon, everybody. It's the Crypto Insider coming at you from the Crypto Insider compound in wild and wonderful Austin, Texas. We took a day off yesterday, but we are back behind the black plastic Corsair Crypto Insider microphone. Uh, Going to explore some stories today for you and talk about XRP price and some of the sell-off action we saw. Part of the reason why I didn't make a video yesterday was I saw that sell-off and it was so fresh. When I was going to make a video, I said it might be more interesting just to wait and see what happens after it. And as I suspected, we're starting to claw back from it. Normally, when you see a big sell-off like that or a big move in the market, it will only affect the market for a certain amount of time. And the more drastic the move, the less time it actually affects the market. And if you've been paying attention to the prices, you can see that we're beginning to claw our way back from some of the hit we took when that $108 million Bitcoin sell happened. What you're seeing on the screen before you is the donation we make for each new subscriber to the channel. We do make a donation to @GoodXRP. They break down our donation amongst 9 charities. I think it's 9, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 worthwhile charities, and everybody gets a little bit of the pie there. And they're all great charities: St. Jude's, dog rescues, Clean Water Project, all good stuff here. And we like to support them by sending a small amount of XRP for each new subscriber to the channel. It kind of helps us grow and it helps them get their job done at the same time. So you can subscribe and donate to charity just by clicking that button. 2 birds with 1 stone. You can't beat that in all of YouTube. Let's see, what else do we have going on? The price from Coinalyze.net. I wanted to show this. This is what I mean by clawing back. You can see all the oscillators have pretty much turned green again. Well, I guess we're neutral now, but for a while there, we were in the overbought category. I imagine we'll see that happen or that continue. XRP is certainly not the biggest gainer of the last day, but it looks like we have pretty much weathered the storm. I don't see any major moves happening right now, but it looks like we're getting back up to the support levels that XRP moved below when that big sell-off that I was talking about happened. So we have an article from News BTC, and I wanted to talk about this. This is from Yashu Gola. It just blows my mind because I think crypto news media sometimes just puts out an article to put out an article, and I think this is one of those. I'm not going to say that it's FUD, but it's certainly reaching to make connections. So let's read some of this. The Ripple's native cryptocurrency established an intraday low of 0.224 on Monday as traders preferred to exit their long position on small profits. So it appears the downside move was more a natural bearish correction, especially after XRP's monstrous price rally that pushed investors' gains up by 45%. The move led some analysts to preserve their bullish bias in the cryptocurrency. Galaxy BTC said in a tweet that he expects XRP to retest 30 cents in the coming daily session. Well, let's hope so. But this part here is what kind of got me thinking. XRP not a long-term bet. But not all think the same. Some analysts see XRP's latest price rally as inorganic. What the hell does that even mean in the markets, considering how its issuer, Ripple Labs, is facing a lawsuit over XRP selling as security back in 2017? If the San Francisco firm loses the motion, it would be forced to compensate all the investors that bought XRP. Moreover, such a ruling could deter XRP's long-term investors from holding the token, leading to a price crash. The XRP to dollar exchange rate is already down by more than 50% since June last year. And then it goes on to talk about Ripple Labs' motion to dismiss. First of all, please, either way, do not hitch the XRP price star to the wagon of this lawsuit. It doesn't matter whether some judge, some circuit judge, says that they think XRP is a security and they rule against Ripple Labs. That's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, you may see an immediate price drop that starts correcting, but at the end of the day, the technology is still the same. Ripple Labs does not own the ledger. The utility is still going to be there, and people are still going to be able to build on top of the XR or on top of the ledger. So also, a court is not the SEC or the CFTC in the case of commodities. So until they offer the guidance, I would not worry much about what a court does. If the court comes out with a decision that Ripple Labs doesn't like, they can just appeal it, and then it pushes it out even further. So I'm not really that concerned with this one-off lawsuit in what it could or might do to the price of XRP. And in the same token, if the judge comes out and just dismisses it after she's done reviewing, I don't think that's going to push the price to 589 overnight. That's not going to happen. This lawsuit means very little in the scheme of Ripple Labs and XRP. Sorry, I just wanted to say it again because it seems like people just see this lawsuit and they want to put it in a story, and then they have a piece of news that somebody like me will read and get worked up about. Ripple, this next one comes from Yahoo News. Christina Comben. Ripple ranked among best places to work in 2020 by Fortune. I'm sure it is, and I'm trying to get them to open an Austin office so that I can work for them. I did talk to one of their recruiters once, and they said, oh, well, yeah, but you're going to have to move to San Francisco or New York. I guess now it would be Washington, D.C., because they have a D.C. office. But I'm trying to lure Brad Garlinghouse to Austin with tacos. We have great tacos, Brad. If anybody from Ripple's listening, you can get all the tacos you would ever want. We've got Texas barbecue. You could eat until your head explodes here, and certainly for a lot cheaper than San Francisco prices. I'm just saying the tax burden here save you lots of money. Uh, but yeah, apparently, according to this article, Ripple Labs is a good place to work. In 2020 ranking of small, medium-sized companies, Ripple comes in 25th place. This is the second consecutive year that the cryptocurrency company has made the Fortune list. In 2019, Ripple was ranked in 17th place. The young company may have dropped a few points since last year, but the listing proves Ripple's doing something right. Yeah, I don't even want to see this list for my company. We're probably 279 or something like that. His tweets provoked from congratulations and praise to questions over XRP status as an illegal security. Of course, in Twitter. Interestingly, though, it's not clear whether Fortune magazine understands what Ripple does. The industry vertical column simply listed business activity as other. That doesn't surprise me. And a lot of these Fortune lists are way off. People are really bemused to find out that they're one of the richest people in the world, and getting those numbers is. And when they compile these lists, they only have access to things that are public source. So a lot of the times they're way off in either direction, Fortune, on some of their rankings. This last article comes from Bitcoinist.com. What could XRP if courts decide it's a commodity? I don't know. What I'm not understanding why, and maybe it's the SEC has tougher regulations than the CFTC. So the SEC regulates securities, the CFTC regulates commodities. And the difference between a security and a commodity is a security is typically an investment vehicle like a bond or a credit swap or things like that. And a commodity is usually an actual product, like grain or oil or wheat, precious metals. Those would be commodities. Wild predictions call XRP to break above 500. XRP has fought for an acceptance and is viewed as a wild card in the world of crypto, possibly bouncing off its current lows. But one of the problems is the status of the actual asset. Now, the discussion on whether the asset is a commodity or not is returning. The status of XRP is still open to discussion, but the potential to pronounce it a commodity arrives after the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, appointed the status to Ethereum. Some proponents of Ripple's case see XRP explode to an extraordinary price of, there it is, $5.89 if it's assigned commodity status, although no supporting evidence has been provided to back up the crazy prediction. The question, probably in the title of this video, is going to be, is 589 a crazy prediction for a price for XRP? Right now, yes, I think it is a crazy prediction. But the caveat on that is any price that XRP has ever achieved up until this point has been through speculation. We have not seen the price coming from utility. Remember, there's only 24 customers using the ODL solution. There's a lot more on the entire RippleNet sort of, their other solutions. They have several hundred. But actually using the ODL corridors is 24 financial institutions. And they're ramping up slowly because you can't just flip the switch without the liquidity being in place, meaning the price needs to be a little bit higher. So they're kind of creeping up transaction-wise. First MGI was using 10%, then 15%. Now it might be up something like 17% in the Mexican corridor. But why do we call a prediction above 589 crazy? So, do I think it's crazy? I kind of right now, right at this moment. Like you got to agree with me that if we woke up tomorrow and XRP was 589, that would be crazy. I mean, it'd be wonderful, but it would be crazy at the same time. So I prefer to answer this question with a question. In 2009, would it have been crazy to say Bitcoin's going to be $1? Would that have been a crazy prediction? Maybe not. What about $10? Is $10 Bitcoin a crazy prediction? What about 100 or 3,000, 6,000? Because all of Bitcoin's price is mainly on speculation. It's not like there's some amazing utility that everyone sees in Bitcoin, and they want it for its efficiency. So if the price of one coin can surprise literally everyone in the market, the world of economists is littered with a trail of reputations of people saying Bitcoin would never go anywhere. And I think XRP could be the same way. I hear a lot of people will give me their predictions, and they're adamant why XRP can't get past $5. It's supply and demand, and supply and demand you can't beat, which is why it's sort of the first law of the marketplace of economics. And that's why you see this period of descending resistance after 2017. All this good news is coming out. This bank wants to use XRP, and that bank wants to use XRP, and this FI, and that FI, and why isn't the price going up? Because you cannot beat the law of supply and demand with good news. You just can't. At least not at this early stage. XRP is in a place where it has to prove itself. I think it already has, but again, we're early to adoption with these 24 customers. Once we get more of these CEOs coming on and saying, yes, we love this product, we want more corridors, it's working, and we get another 60 or 70 FIs on board, the price is going to move up. I'm sure that because not only is it going to have the pressure from the utility, it's also going to have price pressure because it's still going to be speculative. So there's still going to be the market for it. Remember, we pushed it up to $3.84 before there was any utility at all. So imagine what it could possibly get to in a very good bull run now with more people being in the market, more people understanding the token and what it does, and actual utility rather than just speculation. People saw Bitcoin go up and they saw that this was cheap, so they bought a bunch and said, "Oh, we'll wait for this to get to $10,000 like Bitcoin has," because a lot of people don't understand the difference between cryptos. That's we can only do what we can. We can only put out so many videos. I'm assuming anybody watching this channel knows the difference between Bitcoin and XRP, and why I prefer one to the other. But again, Bitcoin has performed speculatively, well for a lot of people. Others are expecting that XRP price could break even further beyond that. According to another XRP Twitter proponent, Jungle Incorporated, he believes the asset could rise as high as $6.92 per coin, based on the expectation that all international payments in the future will use XRP. I wouldn't like to base a prediction on everything happening. That's I mean, the further you go out trying to predict a price, the harder it is to do. Currently, it is estimated that 10 trillion are processed each day across the world. If that money flows through XRP, through ODL, then Jungle Incorporated believes that the asset's value would surge to nearly $700 per coin. So, right now, owning XRP is a potential risk, as the asset may still be viewed as an unregistered security. Ripple's been fighting the case that it's not and should exist outside the scope of this SEC. There's other risks too as well. We live in a world where money talks. So if a large conglomerate of banks get together and say, "Hey, Brad, how are you today? We have $50 million that we're going to give you for your $10 billion company." Uh, it is possible that somebody could buy Ripple and then just put the kibosh on the whole ODL project just to protect whatever traditional methods they have. But the thing is, like that, with that, I think even that's unlikely, because then it becomes a game of whack-a-mole, right? Then you have Stellar doing the same thing. You have other people who will start building on the XRP ledger. Because again, Ripple doesn't own it. They own the ODL solution, but anybody could make their own ODL solution or something similar on top of the ledger. And then it goes on to talk about the road to toppling Bitcoin. Price recovery, yeah. And it looks like we are seeing some price recovery, like I said at the beginning. Bitcoin's still down from the highs that it achieved, but making gains, I think, on the hour. Let's do a refresh here. Yeah, so 80.80 in 1 hour, climbing up almost to where we were yesterday. Was yesterday prior? Maybe that would have been right after the big dip we saw. In any case, I'm hesitant to call 589 crazy. I think it's crazy at this moment in time, but I don't think it's necessarily crazy down the road. I would suggest having a plan in place to achieve. Now, I'm not a financial investment advisor, certified financial planner, tax accountant, or orthodontist, so don't take my word for it. But I would not. I would not put a number in mind like $50 XRP and say, you know what, I'm just going to cash it all out right then and get out. I would not. I would not approach this, whatever you want to call it, commodity, security, asset, with a hard and fast mindset like that. I may sell 10 or 20% of it at $50, but always keeping the door open so that you don't miss out, because nothing. I saw a tweet the other day. It's kind of like the pizza tweet from Bitcoin. I saw a tweet where somebody said, "I just had to get out of XRP. I couldn't take it anymore. It was emotionally draining. Whatever. I'm tired of watching my investment go down. He sold all, and he showed a screenshot, I think, of his sale of however many thousands of XRP it was. And the next day, the market went up 12%. So this guy lost out 12% spread over many, many thousands of XRP because he was emotional. I don't believe that all the weak emotional hands have been forced out of the market just yet. So I mean, and when we're on a bullish cycle, even a bearish cycle, you don't see those straight down dips. You see that long descending channel of resistance. And when we're climbing, you see a climb and then a pullback, a climb and then a pullback, a climb. And so it starts to look like waves on the chart. And I think we're in that bullish cycle. I hate to say that we have had a huge trend reversal. Like I said, my celebration point for XRP is in that 27 to 30 cent range. I think if we pull out of there decisively, then we can say, this thing's turned the corner and safely. Safely. Some analysts have already said that, saying, we've already hit the bottom. We're not going to see any more lows. I'm not as brave as they are. I don't like to make price predictions in the first place, but we'll see what happens. I thank you for tuning in. I'm going to pop up some videos for you to watch, some more crypto insider, propaganda for you to view. And hope that you've enjoyed the content and are enjoying this holiday. It is Martin Luther King Day, so do what you do to celebrate the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King. And we'll see you later, probably tomorrow.